Welcome to Real Leaders with Roshini, the podcast with real talk, real questions, real insight, and we hope real inspiration. For real. Today, we take a stroll down memory lane to my conversation from October 2018 with the original Black Klansman. I spoke with Ron Stallworth before we knew Spike Lee's movie, based on Stallworth's book, Black Klansman, would receive Golden Globe and Oscar nominations. His story is part of American history, and Ron Stallworth definitely knows how to get real. He is Ron Stallworth, and he is the man behind the book, behind the new movie by Spike Lee, Black Klansman. It got the 2018 Grand Jury Prize at the Cannes Film Festival, and it is based upon his book, Black Klansman, Race, Hate, and the Undercover Investigation of a Lifetime. Ron, it's such an honor to have you with us.
Well, the honor is mine. Thank you.
Well, first of all, we've got to go back in time to the late 70s when you were the first black detective in the Colorado Springs Police Department. What made you get into law enforcement?
I wanted to earn, I wanted to earn enough money to put myself through college and become a high school PE teacher.
That's simple.
That's simple.
Yeah, but then you stayed in it. And tell people about the classified ad posted by the local Ku Klux Klan that you responded to.
Well, I was working in the intelligence division, and I was scanning the newspapers one day, and in the Colorado Springs Gazette-Telegraph newspaper, there was an ad that said Ku Klux Klan for information, and then there was a P.O. box. So I responded to the P.O. box pretending to be a white supremacist. I use the language of hate that they communicate in, referencing minorities and other people on their hate list, and basically told them that I wanted to do something to stop the abuse of the white race.
So when you responded, were you like already thinking this is an undercover operation, or were you just kind of seeing what would happen?
No, I saw the ad. Part of my job as an intelligence investigator was to stay on top of subversive groups in our city. The Klan is a subversive group. So when I saw the ad, I wrote the little note to them and thought I'd see where it led. I thought I'd get some pamphlets, a brochure or something in the mail. I didn't expect a phone call about a week or two later. I might add, I signed my real name to the note, which I shouldn't have, but I did. And I gave them the undercover phone line, which back then was untraceable.
Interesting. So, okay, so they called you. Who called you? What did they say?
A guy by the name of Ken Odell. Ken was the Colorado Springs chapter president, and he said he had got my note. I had some interesting ideas, and he wanted to know why I wanted to join the Klan. So I repeated in what I wrote in the note, and I repeated that to him, and then I spiced it up a little bit.
So you were really trying to convince him you wanted to be part of the KKK, even though you were pretty much luring him in to this investigation.
I wasn't really trying to do anything other than do a simple undercover investigation. I was talking in the language they talk to, or talk in, and his response to me was, "You're just the kind of guy we're looking for. When can we meet?"
Interesting. I'm talking with Ron Stallworth. He is the man who is behind the movie Black Klansman by Spike Lee and Jordan Peele. His book is out. He's coming to the Twin Cities on Thursday. He'll be here. I'll give you more details in a few minutes. But all right, so you were invited to a meeting, but you did not go to the meeting yourself, Ron, did you?
No, I might add, by the way, my book was a New York Times bestseller.
That is great. I'm glad you added that. It doesn't happen to everybody.
Yeah. He invited me to come to this meeting, and the meeting took place about a week later. I had to put things in motion. Obviously, I couldn't meet with him, and I put things in motion in that week's time to formulate a plan, and my plan was simple. Get a white officer posing as me to be my face in face-to-face meetings with Ken Odell and the others, while I would continue to talk on the phone and orchestrate everything, and that's what I did.
And how long did this go on, Ron?
7.5 months.
And once you got your partner in there, so he's going in as the person, Ron, and you are the Ron on the phone. What did your intent become over the 7.5 month period?
Well, as I said, it was an intelligence investigation. Intelligence is about gathering information. We were trying to gather as much information as possible about the Ku Klux Klan that was forming in Colorado Springs, and see what they were into, what their activities were, who the membership was, where they lived, all of these little details. And if it moved into the realm of a criminal investigation, we would have switched it to that mode. But this was an intelligence investigation.
Okay, I'm talking with Ron Stallworth. He has been called the Jackie Robinson of his time. He was the youngest detective ever in Colorado Springs and the first black man accepted into that department. He infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan in Colorado Springs using his voice on the phone, but his white partner when there were any face-to-face meetings. His story in the new movie Black Klansman and his New York Times bestseller by the same name. All right, so then take us toward the end of that time. Were you ever found out? How did this wind down?
It wound down when, in a phone call, and with Chuck, my white avatar, in a personal meeting he had, Ken Odell basically said that he was getting out of the Army and the Klan needed new leadership, and basically they took a vote, and it was unanimous that they wanted Ron Stallworth, who had proven himself to be a loyal and dedicated Klansman, to assume the leadership of the Colorado Springs chapter. When I went to my chief with this, the chief said, shut the investigation down now. And that's how it ended.
So you didn't even get to just sort of decline politely. You just stopped talking with them.
No, I declined politely over the phone, and Chuck, my white avatar, declined politely in person. But the chief was adamant, so I was told to don't answer any more phone calls, don't go to any more meetings, don't respond to any more correspondence via mail. And he said, I basically want Ron Stallworth Klansman to disappear. So that's what I did, and ironically, in the 7.5 months that we did this undercover investigation, not one cross was burned in Colorado Springs. On the night in which I was told to end the investigation and not answer any phone calls, I actually got a phone call, and I didn't answer it. That very night, a cross was burned for the first time.
Wow.
To this day, I believe that phone call was them inviting me to participate in another cross burning, and because I didn't answer the phone and didn't get the location where they were going to burn, we couldn't prevent that one as well.
Right. So in that information gathering to kind of put the pieces together for those 7.5 months, you were able to stop a lot of these cross burnings and other of their activities because you were ahead of the curve on that.
We stopped 3 cross burnings, 2 directly. The 2 directly were because I was invited to participate in them. They told me on the phone the location, the date, time, and what I did was have our dispatcher saturate the area with police cars. So when they went to try to set their cross up, they saw police cars coming north, south, east, and west, and basically they chickened out and didn't do it. We did that twice. The third time they were planning a cross burning, they had a lot of discussion, and the bottom line was they had failed the previous 2 times and decided against doing it the third time.
Wow, this is fascinating. Real quickly before we let you go, what are your thoughts about John David Washington playing you?
John David Washington did one excellent job portraying 25-year-old me. He's a very polite, respectful, soft-spoken, well-mannered young man. His mom and dad did an excellent job raising him, and I am proud to call him a fellow Stallworth brother.
Well, we are honored that you were with us today. Ron Stallworth is the man. He will be at Bethel Synagogue on October 25th at 7 p.m., and you can get tickets to that online. I'll share more information when we come back. Thank you so much, and have great travels, and good luck with the book, the continued success of that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My conversation from October 2018 with the original Black Klansman. I spoke with Ron Stallworth before we knew Spike Lee's movie, based on Stallworth's book, Black Klansman, would receive Golden Globe and Oscar nominations. His story is part of American history, and Ron Stallworth definitely knows how to get real. Until next time, keep it real.